Hello. Welcome to Rants on the Edge. Rants from the Edge. I am, of course, your host, Matt Stevens. And today we just have one. Sometimes we might do two. Sometimes we might do three. You can also follow me on the Matt Show 365 at the Matt Show 365 on the Twitter and the Facebook, if you'd like. And I think the not the Instagram, the Snapchat as well. Although I've never done one of those, but maybe soon. And today this is actually the first show of this, and so what is sort of drove me to the point where I have to do this and say something is because I can't take it anymore, man. I can't. So I didn't watch the Golden Globes because I hate award shows. They're useless in every way, shape, or form. If I wanted to watch actors drop to their knees for each other, then I would just watch movies, which is what I do. My problem is that as I'm flipping through Facebook after Oprah's speech, and I hear people yammering and clamoring and glamoring and whatever for Oprah to become a president of the United States of America. To run for president, be president, to take on Donald Trump and end the reign of tyranny that is Donald Trump. Now, first, let me just say this. Because I just want to for you to understand that I don't care that Oprah's a woman. I don't care that she's black. I don't. None of that means anything to me, because if Kamala Harris ran for president tomorrow, I would vote for her in just a second. I would vote for Elizabeth Warren. There's tons of women that I would vote for. Tons of black women that I would vote for. That's not my problem. We have got to stop doing this. Have we learned nothing in the last year? Have we literally learned nothing in the last year of our lives? Oprah is a better person than Donald Trump. That's not even, like, the idea that you would even think that I would think otherwise, is that she would be bad from a moral compass standpoint, is pure nonsense. Nobody believes that unless you're a Trump supporter, in which case you think he's the greatest thing in the world, and those people are just delusional and crazy. I'm talking about a free-thinking person, such as myself. Of course, she would be better. But here's the problem, and this is what nobody's talking about it. Our next president is going to be maybe the most important president we've ever had in the history of our country. Now, I know what you're saying, but Matt, George Washington was the first, and it was probably and yes, you're probably right. But our next president may be more important than him, maybe more important to the continuation of this country as we know it the way it is today. Our next president, the web that they're going to have to weave of untangling the nonsense that has been put in place over the 4 years that he's in office, the melding back of a country that is just split down the middle based on racial, gender tension lines. Or the immigration fight, all of these things need a firm, steady hand to get them to move either forward, backward, wherever we're going here, based on what Trump does in the next 3 years. Our next president is going to be so important. It can't be a beginner. It can't be a novice. It can't be someone who's never done it before. I'm sorry, but it can't. It's too important. Our next president is too important to leave it to somebody who, yes, is a super successful business person, who has done a lot of humanitarian and great things. But we need somebody who's there every day in the trenches, who understands how this works, who understands the best way to turn it around, and who understands how to get that done with the people that are in the Senate and the House. She is not that person. She is not. We have many who are. We, of course, have Bernie Sanders. We know about him. We, of course, have Elizabeth Warren. You know about her. Kamala Harris. You know about her. Amy Klobuchar, you know about her. Kirsten Gillibrand, you know about her. Those are all viable, wonderful candidates to run for president as a Democrat. They have experience. They have knowledge. They have the basic understanding of how the daily malarkey works in Washington, D.C. The idea that an outsider can just walk in and do the job is pure insanity, and we've seen it from day one. Now, again, she's smarter than him, so you assume it would go a little bit better, but you can't assume it would go much better from, and again, take away the moral stuff. I'm talking about purely from a nuts and bolts perspective. You can't tell me that she would be much better than him at passing legislation. You can't tell me that's true because you don't know. You don't know. Our next president is going to be so important when you think about the divide that is just getting wider every day based on what our president is doing now. But more importantly, about all the different stuff that they're going to have to overturn over the next 4 years. Oprah, if you want to help, please help us. Please help. But do what you're doing now. Just do more of it. Use your humanitarian ways. Use your money and power and influence to rid the Democratic Party of these middling chuckleheads who straddle the center and get nothing done for us whatsoever. Use your power, influence, and to get legislation passed from the outside. If you want to run for president, Oprah, that's fine with me, but you have to do something first. You need to run for mayor, governor, Senate, House. You need to hold an office first. You need to do something first in government that is not the president of the United States. It just can't be that anymore. It can't. We have to change that. You have to have experience in doing this. And I'm saying the same thing about Mark Zuckerberg. I'm saying the same thing about The Rock. I'm saying the same thing about everybody who wants to run for president of the United States before serving as comptroller. You can't do it. Let me rephrase that. It's not that you can't do it. You shouldn't do it. You should not do it. The job is too important. It's too important. And we're seeing now that it's not just, forget about all his antics and his Twitter rants and all his absolute nonsense and malarkey that plagues us every day. Forget about all it, the fake news. Forget about all that stuff for a second. Just from a nuts and bolts perspective, she doesn't have the experience to get things done in a government setting. Oprah is the boss. Oprah get what she wants. Now, she wouldn't be at throw temper tantrums like Trump, but that doesn't mean she would understand how that particular brand of diplomacy would work. I want somebody who is the president of the United States who has actually worked on writing a law, worked on writing a bill, worked on anything, doing anything with government money, not just yours. The other thing I need you to do is sell everything you own, not your house. I don't mean that. I'm talking about your property, not your television station. You cannot own anything. You have to rid yourself of everything. Sell it. It's got to go. Because we're not going through this again. Because Oprah's companies rely on FCC things to happen. They rely on all different sorts. She has many different companies that do many different things. You cannot be a part of any of those companies. And I don't mean putting them in blind trust. I don't mean sell them. No longer can our president own companies while they're serving as president of the United States. If you do those two things, I will vote for you. Nah, that's not true. I might vote for you. I would have a better chance of voting for you based on what you did and your track record and how you spoke to me. I don't mean in a condescending way or whatever. I'm saying what your policies would be. But until those things are done, you should not run for president. Being the head of Oprah does not make you qualified to be president of the United States. It doesn't. And please, everybody, please, I beg you with every ounce of my being, we have such a huge election coming up. Please. Can we please get back to understanding that although entrenchment is bad, experience is good? That I want term limits for everybody. But I still want that person who runs for president to have experience. You don't need necessarily experience when you're a senator or a House member because there's other people there to help you move through the system and how it works and teach you and let you know. And yes, there are other presidents to do that too, but they can't be there every day. This is not a job for a novice. It's not. You need to have experience. And the idea that Democrats, and I get that Oprah's different, but again, forget about the moral stuff because let's be fair, folks, a freaking chimpanzee would have a better moral. Yes, no, a lion, a tiger snake, a toad, anything, a human, anybody would have a better moral compass than the man that is in the White House right now. Okay? So if we're just going by that rationale, well, then I'm running for president. Matt Stevens, 2020. I don't have any money, but hey, what the hell, right? Anybody can run for president now. I've been a waiter my whole life. I know how to serve people. I know how to get things done. I can multitask. I understand how the world works. I know how a bill becomes a law. I've seen the schoolhouse rock on it. I'm ready to go. Matt Stevens, 2020. Do you understand the problem here? Do you? Stop. Don't elect or want to get people to run for president because if she runs, it's a circus. If she just is even in the primary, even if she doesn't win, it is still a circus and it doesn't make us look good. It doesn't. It just doesn't. She is qualified to do what she does. She's qualified to give interviews. She is qualified to run corporations. She is qualified to run TV shows. She's qualified to do all those things. She's not qualified to be president of the United States. And again, that goes for The Rock. That goes for Mark Zuckerberg. That goes for whoever else friggin' billionaire jackwagon who thinks they can just run for president because Donald Trump did it. Well, let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you right now. The left does not work that way totally. We are not en masse. We are not going to line up behind you, okay? We don't want celebrity candidates. We want good candidates. We want experienced candidates. We want candidates who have been fighting for us, who we know are not going to turn on a dime, but depending on what they need or want from somebody else. I don't know what kind of leader Oprah would be. She would be better than Trump. But again, if that's the bar we're setting, so would I. So would I. Don't do it. Our next president is so important. It's going to be so important. The person who leads us out of this muck and mire, out of the just sheer petulance that has existed or will exist for the next 4 years, assuming he stays in office. The next president is so important. Please, for the love of everything that is holy, do not, I repeat, do not make me vote between Donald Trump and Oprah Winfrey.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.